Got a lot of clips. Here's Mitch McConnell, who, of course, he's going to seat whatever Republican judge he can get on there. Of course he is. Was this predictable? Of course it was. I made this prediction 2.5 years ago. Mitch McConnell is going to put every single judge he can do on there in any way he can. And guess what? There's not a single thing that can be done to stop him. He no longer recognizes blue slips. There's no longer any filibuster. Here is Mitch McConnell.
Mm-hmm. Senator, you had your legacy on judges with President Trump is going to be terrific, getting constitutional judges appointed to the court. If another seat opens on the Supreme Court, are you going to push that through?
Absolutely. The precedent that people ignored back in 2016 when I made the decision not to fill the vacancy during the middle of the presidential election was who controlled the Senate.
That's right.
You have to go back to 1888 to find the last time a Senate of a different party from the president confirmed a vacancy to the Supreme Court that occurred during the presidential election. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. We will still control the Senate next year. If there were to be a vacancy, of course we would fill it.
You can almost see him almost crack up in that. There's a moment there where he almost cracks up. It's probably because of the look of belief and acceptance on the face of the Fox and Friends. One of those is Dan Bongino, guy who I guess he got kicked off of all the
NRA TV.
He got booted from NRA TV. First off, there's no such thing as constitutional judges. That's a made-up thing.
Isn't every judge supposed to be constitutional?
There's no judge, the best judge in the world wouldn't say, like, I'm constitutional judge. That doesn't make any sense. It's just a made-up term that means nothing. Just combines two words. You could say patriotic judges. It's also a made-up thing. McConnell knows he's full of crap. Of course he is.
Well, he said the American people. I mean, just to specify, he wasn't always saying this. He was saying, let's let the American people decide. Right.
Absolutely. It's, but he found his, talking point that is going to satisfy the boobs who watch Fox and Friends. But the bottom line is elections have consequences. This was completely predictable. Of course, Mitch McConnell is going to break every rule or norm or whatever it is to get people and part of the reason is because Republican voters are okay with that. Far more okay with it than Democratic voters. And I say that as a regret. Democratic voters should be just as upset, just as willing, and in fact, just as demanding of whoever, Chuck Schumer, whoever it is, to go in and do whatever it takes to win, to be politically expedient, if you will. That's what politics is. It would be very nice if we were living in an era where there was Senate comedy and they all, went and took a schwitz afterwards, a hard day on the floor of the Senate and said, we're not going to push on this one because it's not the right thing to do. It's your pick. And, well, we're just going to return things to normal. Doesn't that sound diluted? Doesn't the idea that someone could shame Republicans at this point sounds diluted? It does, doesn't it? This is from a tweet. Joy Reid apparently asked Joe Biden how he'll get his agenda past Mitch McConnell. Quote, I know you're one of the ones, Joe Biden said, who thinks it's naive to say we have to work together. But Biden goes on to say you can shame people to do things the right way.
Wow.
The idea that Mitch McConnell could be shamed in any way is either so diluted or such a lie that the person who utters such a thing should either be kept from harming themselves or from harming others. This is so cynical, so far from the truth that Joe Biden must know, or Joe Biden has, maybe he never had him, but has completely lost his marbles. One of those two things has to be true. He either knows he's telling a massive lie, or he has completely lost his marbles. And I think he knows he's telling a lie. That's why he says, like, I'm going to address your critique before you say it. And I know that's your critique because everybody knows that Mitch McConnell has not an ounce of shame. But it's amazing. It's amazing. This is, and I mentioned this earlier, that somebody was arguing with me on Twitter, like, you don't believe in hypocrisy as a principle or anti-hypocrisy. You and Joe Biden sitting together in a swing. Those are the two people there. Those are the two people who argue for hypocrisy. People who are fundamentalists and people who are bullshit artists. And those bullshit artists are usually in the center. They're just corporate centrists. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I want Joe Biden to say this again on that debate stage. And I hope there's somebody on that debate stage who is willing to say, to address Mitch McConnell. Because I don't know that there is. I don't know if Bernie is going to say that. Bernie's not the one who's going to, necessarily target Mitch McConnell. Bernie's probably not going to go after Joe Biden, I don't think. He might, but I don't think so.
Well, Bernie has been targeting the right to a large degree, like maybe in anticipation of the general and building a case for why his political vision has the best chance of beating back this kind of right-wing populism that's taking over the world right now.
I think Bernie, for the most part, is very reluctant to go at individuals. And I don't know that he'll go at Biden this early in the, I doubt it. Question is, will there be anybody else up on stage saying, like, what I heard you say about Mitch McConnell? And I don't know if there is. They're all going to focus on Donald Trump.
Maybe if they try to get Bernie on his, you supported a challenge to Obama. What do you say about that if you don't like Obama so much? And Bernie can just say, well, Joe thinks Obama's better at, or Joe thinks he's better at Obama than Obama is.
Right.
You know you're bad when I'm siding with Joyanne Reid against you.
There you go. I can only imagine the look on her face that prompted him to address her critique before she uttered it.